He laughed so hard. The pen shook in his hand, the sound bouncing off those old wood-paneled walls like a joke nobody wanted to hear. Ethan leaned back in his chair, grinning wide at the crowd behind us, like this was some kind of comedy, not the wreckage of our marriage. He flashed that signature smirk, pressed the pen to the final page, and signed his name with a flourish. His idea of freedom. The clerk scooped up the file, and Judge Walter Silverhair, eyes sharp behind his glasses, cleared his throat. The courtroom fell so quiet. Even the ceiling fan seemed to freeze mid-spin. Before we finish here, the judge said, we need to enter the updated financial disclosures into the record. Mrs. Lane has a checking account, a savings account, and a trust. His gaze flicked up at me. My lawyer, M.S. Harris, nodded. Ethan's lawyer frowned, and Ethan just kept swinging his foot like a bored little kid. The judge read each line, his voice slow and heavy as thunder. When he got to the trust balance $150 million, Ethan's foot stopped cold. The smirk vanished. Gasps rippled across the room. Someone's phone beeped, and suddenly, every eye was on me. Mrs. Lane, can you confirm the Mercy Trust is yours? The judge asked. 100 memories tried to answer. My mind flashed to church suppers and hospital hallways, to a letter with my name and a blue ink key. I just nodded. Ethan, the man who laughed, suddenly sounded small. Maya, what's he talking about? The judge tapped his gavel. 5 minutes to verify the letter of intent and sealed instructions. No one leaves. And just like that, the ground dropped out from under my 5 minutes. A secret letter and $150 million waiting in the balance. You want to know how we got here? It didn't start with gold under my pillow. It started in a church kitchen, windows fogged from boiling soup and the kind of onions that made everyone's eyes sting. There was a pastor who believed if someone knocked, you found them a chair. Not an excuse. That's where I learned to serve. My hands shaky, but trying my best. Back when Ethan and I were new, the kind of new that makes your phone light up feel like magic. We served food together on Saturday tall boxes. I'd slice fruit and we'd laugh, thinking we were building a life worth something. But time is a way of showing what's real. The next year, when the honeymoon wore off, Ethan started counting bills. My tiny paychecks, the hours I spent volunteering. Dreams don't fill fridges. Maya, he'd say, tossing a pantry flyer on the table. We need real money. You need a real plan. I told him I had a plan, do the next right thing, help kids after school, take night classes, save what we could, keep being kind. He just laughed softer than in court. But that seed of contempt was there. One slow Wednesday, a woman came to the church kitchen, not old by years, but old in stories. She wore a faded scarf and walked like she didn't want to take up space. I'm just looking, she said, her hands trembling. We're all looking. I answered. She smiled at that, introduced herself as Eloanina E. when she didn't want to be formal. I gave her stew and bread, and she ate slowly, like her body had to remember how to accept kindness. When she left, she pressed a slip of paper in my hand, her number, and a sketch of a key. If you ever need anything, she said, sometimes the knock's on you. And then she was gone. That afternoon, Ethan Callity got a job in sales. He told me, you should quit the volunteer stuff. Focus on bringing in more money. It's not free. It's dignity. I argued. It's a habit, he said, and habits cost. His words built a wall between us. After that, he got taller with his words, started talking about valuable time and business expenses. He came home late, called his new shoes investments. Our wishes stopped fitting on the same branch. But I kept going, serving, learning, hoping the cracks would heal. And every Wednesday, Eloanina returned, bringing stories, questions, and eventually an envelope with a bank card inside. Mercy isn't a favor. It's a map. Use this well. Her notes said. I tucked it away, not ready to use it. Not yet. Ethan's laughter at home grew bitter. He laughed when I suggested budgeting, or asked if we could talk. He called me soft, then simple, then charity. The day he told me, "You don't know how money works." I took a walk, ended up at Cordwell Reed Bank, the one on the card. Inside, a man named Mr. Harrow showed me the paperwork of trust, a letter for me, and a promise that I could use these resources for good, to build what I'd always built, open doors. I kept it quiet, took classes, learned the ropes. At home, Ethan just laughed at other things. When he finally suggested divorce, he said it like he was doing me a favor. "You always land on your feet," he said. I almost told him about the trust, but sometimes you keep quiet to protect what's still growing. So here we are, in court. Ethan laughed. The judge read the numbers, and the world flipped. A second letter, a sealed instruction, was about to be read when the fire alarm blared. Chaos breaking loose. The judge's gavel called us back. The letter was read. If this letter is opened, it means my daughter, in the ways that matter, has told the truth with her life. And the man who laughed at that truth must hear something he'll never forget. Gasps. Ethan's chair scraping. And then a woman rushed in with another envelope, another twist. Before the judge could read on, Ethan collapsed. The paramedics came. I watched, frozen, not out of cruelty, but because you can't always be the one who picks someone up, not when they've pushed you down so long. Later, at the hospital, I sat beside him as he woke. "Why are you here?" he asked. "Because mercy is about me, not you," I said. "If I had known," he whispered, "things might have been different. Money doesn't change people," I replied. "It just reveals them." Back in court, the judge read from the new folder. Not only was I heir to the trust, but to Caldwell International Companies, charities, an entire empire. The room exploded. Ethan's shock was total. His voice gone. Richard Caldwell, Evelynina's nephew, tried to challenge me, claiming the inheritance should be his. But testimony from Catherine Blake, Evelynina's assistant, revealed Richard had forged documents, had been cut out of the will for his betrayal. Richard's rage filled the courtroom, but the law and the truth stood firm. As the crowd outside swelled, MS Harris and Jonathan Reed kept me steady. "This legacy is about responsibility, not just money," Jonathan said. That night, I finally opened Evelynina's last letter. The true gift is yet to be revealed. Power without kindness is corruption, but kindness without courage is weakness. You must be both. Then Ethan showed up at my door, bringing an old iron key and a confession had found the envelope years ago. Kept it from me out of fear and jealousy. Before I could even process it, a message pinged. "If you have the key, meet me at the Caldwell estate." The truth cannot wait. My heart pounded as I realized there was still more to this story. The key fit a hidden lock at the estate. Inside, Evelynina's final letter revealed a deeper truth. My own mother had once worked for her, had been her confidant and partner in building this legacy. It wasn't just money, it was a promise, a destiny. Back in court, as divorce proceedings ended, Ethan declined any share of the settlement, asking only for forgiveness. Richard tried one last time to claim the empire, but the truth about my mother, about Mercy, was out. The judge finalized everything. I stepped outside into a sea of flashing cameras, ready to face whatever came next. I told the crowd, I didn't win because of money. I won because kindness isn't weakness. Mercy is strength, and I will build something greater than wealth of future where kindness is the crown. And that's where this chapter ends. But it's only the beginning. Where are you watching from? Drop it in the comments. I love hearing from every one of you. If this story moved you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. The world needs more kindness, and maybe a little courage too.